Hey everybody, Jeff Stone here with another episode of MagicReview.com, day 16, the 16th review of 2015, take 97. I don't know. I have a little cough that keeps coming up and I have to keep starting over. So anyway, I may just go into a coughing fit in this video. I'm going to leave it there. Today we got Sean Field's Hidden Hand. So here's the effect. You borrow a finger ring, and you hold it at your fingertips, and then you bring it in, close your hand, and then open it and show your hand, and it's gone. It's empty. Both sides of your hand, it's gone. And then you can almost instantly retrieve it and reproduce it. Great effect, I would assume you'd agree. And the method's actually pretty good. And in fact, the gimmick works very well to do that effect. But this product had so many problems that it made it very difficult for me to just make my final star rating decision, which we'll talk about at the end of the video. But let me just walk you through everything so you see how we get there. So what are my criteria? Method, ad copy, integrity, and product quality. Let's look at method. Part of the method requires a little thing that they give you that you have to stick it to your arm. Now, you have to be wearing long sleeve shirt, a long sleeve shirt, with the sleeves rolled up. You cannot do it with a short sleeve shirt. Now, this little thing that you stick to your arm is hidden underneath your sleeve. But in the DVD, Sean Field says, well, there's a little adhesive thing on there that you just peel off and stick it on your arm. But there wasn't. So instead, it came with this that I just assumed this was what I needed. So I cut a piece out, put it on the little thing, and it stuck to the gimmick just fine, but it would not stick to my arm. Now, with that gimmick, its purpose, that little piece that sticks to your arm, the purpose of it is, number one, to help you manage your gimmick, and number two, to use it for vanishing other objects that are not rings. Okay, we'll talk about each of those individually. First, managing your gimmick. The gimmick is already hooked up to you, but it's sort of like tucked away out of place or out of sight until you need it. And if that gimmick is stuck to your arm like it's supposed to, then getting the rest of the gimmick in play when you need it is very easy. But the problem is, since this thing doesn't stick, then the gimmick, it's going to either be tucked away to where you can't get to it, or it's going to be dangling out there in the open for everybody to see. Neither of those are a good thing. With the gimmick stuck in place, then yeah, getting the rest of the gimmick and hooking it up and getting ready to do the trick works great. Okay, so that's problem number one. If you don't have the thing sticking to your arm, which I couldn't get it to stick, and it wasn't even tacky at all, it just wouldn't stick at all. So if I can't get it to stick, then I can't load the gimmick when I need to. I have to be digging around and fishing around and trying to find it, which makes it very awkward. If the gimmick were in place, because it would stick to if it did stick to my arm, then it's real quick. You just say, hey, can I borrow a finger ring? While they grab the finger ring, bam, you're in place. It takes just a second. But because the thing's not sticking, there's a problem. Problem number two, the trick works with rings when you have the gimmick in place. Whether or not you have that sticky thing doesn't matter. The sticky thing just makes it harder to get the gimmick in place if the sticky thing's not there. But once you've got the gimmick in place, you can do the vanish with a ring, no problem. But you cannot vanish anything else. A coin or a borrowed object or anything like that, anything that doesn't have a hole in it, basically, will not work without that sticky thing. You need that sticky thing to make all the other vanishes work. Well, because my sticky thing ain't sticky, I can't do any other vanishes but the ring thing. And I can only do the ring thing if I can get the gimmick set up while I'm asking to borrow the ring without them noticing I'm getting the gimmick set up, which is very difficult because the sticky thing ain't sticky. Whew, hope you got all that. So that's a big problem I had. Next, let's look at ad copy. Now I'm going to tell you right now, the written review on this is pretty long, but I think you should read it because it's going to have way more details than this video is. So make sure you read the written review. You can see it down below. If you're here on YouTube, just click the link and it'll take you over there. If you're already on magicreview.com, the written description is just right below this video. So make sure you read that. But there are 3 problems in the ad trailer, like the video trailer. Problem number 1, there's a trick where they show a key on the palm of your hand, and then you go like this, and then it's gone. I have no idea how you could do that with this gimmick, number 1. Number 2, they don't teach it on the DVD. So I have no clue how that, I don't know what's going on there. Next, there was a coin bend. Now in the DVD, Sean Fields teaches a coin bend that uses a gimmick. Again, only if you have the sticky thing working will this even work in the first place. But let's assume the sticky thing works. He shows it's a coin bend that requires 2 hands. And so, you know, I don't want to expose too much, but basically you need both hands involved. One hand has the gimmick that's going to vanish the coin secretly, and then you bring into play the bend coin. And then you hand it out and you're empty and your hands are clean. That's fine, and that method works good, assuming your sticky thing sticks. But in the trailer, he shows a one-handed version where he just shows one coin. He puts that one coin in his mouth, and then he bends that coin between his teeth. I don't know. I'm not sure how the handling on that would work. I don't know. And it's not taught on the DVD. Again, not taught on the DVD. The third one, I wrote it down here, was, he has vanishing ring to anywhere, into impossible location, basically. So you vanish the ring, then you can reproduce it anywhere. And the way the gimmick works, you could pretty easily, I don't think they covered this on the DVD, but you could get like a bread roll and reach in the bread roll and pull it out pretty easily. The one they show in the trailer is the ring vanishes, and then he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out the ring, and it's hooked to a keychain. That trick is possible, and he does teach you how to do it on the DVD. However, when you go in to get the ring out of your pocket, there's some pretty serious fidgeting you got to do to make it work. And they kind of cut that out in the trailer. They did a sort of a weird speed-up video thing that made it easy to cut little pieces out, and you don't see how less than clean it is. I mean, it's still relatively clean, but the video trailer was a little, I'd almost say deceptive, inappropriately deceptive. So, ad copy. Now, there's a few problems in the written ad copy. One of the big ones was talking about using borrowed objects. That's all true if your sticky thing works, but our sticky thing doesn't work. So that's a problem. So there's a couple other things, but read the written description. Moving on to product quality. I've already told you the big product quality issue, this little sticky thing not working. As far as the DVD goes, I mean, it's produced well, it's shot well, it's lit, all that stuff's fine, easy to navigate, and there's like 25 tricks on there. There's a lot of stuff on the video. It's 2 hours long. And most of it is taught well, but there are a couple issues. One, Sean Fields makes a claim that, and I'm paraphrasing here, but that nothing's more cleaner than borrowing a coin and making it vanish from your hand, and both hands are empty with no top it. What does the spectator care if there's a top it? Do they know? I think that a top it would actually be a cleaner way to vanish a single coin than this method, even if this sticky thing were working. Because the problem with this method versus a top it is, with the top it, it's gone. I mean, it's gone. You can roll your sleeves all the way up, and it's gone. With this method, however, you couldn't do this. All right, I'll just say that you couldn't do that. The coin is sort of out there, and it's hidden, but you have to be careful about how you stand and how you move a little bit. Not so much so that the angles are terrible, because angles are pretty good, but on the top it, the angles are invisible, because once the coin's in the top it, there's nothing to see, nothing to hide. Where in this case, the coin would still be kind of, we'll say, floating out there, and so there is something to see and there is something to hide. So I had just a little bit of an issue with that. There's a section where Eric Jones teaches a few effects, and in every single case, he's starting the effect with the gimmick already loaded on, so you never see the part in the performance where he quickly sets the gimmick up. And I don't know this for sure, but I think the reason is is because it's tricky to fish it out and get it hooked up when you don't have that little sticky thing on there. And he did not have the sticky thing on. I don't know why he didn't have it on. Maybe because it didn't stick to him either. I don't know. So it's one of those kind of things where I don't know how to give you a specific example, but it's the type of thing where there's a little bit of an awkward setup where you have to get into position, and where the magician teaching you says, okay, now that you're in this position, this is how you do the effect. But the problem is, how do you get into that position? It's not an easy thing to do when you're in the middle of performing something and you're going to go from your card trick to this coin, some coin trick using the hidden hand or whatever. You need to learn how to get into position while you're performing. And each effect that was being shown there, they were very blatantly, a lot of the times, were very blatantly getting it into position. They weren't doing it secretly. But you have to do that secretly. And if the sticky thing's not there, it's very hard to do it secretly. If the sticky thing's there, it's pretty easy to do it secretly. So there are some issues there. There's a couple times where Sean Fields was using the gimmick, the sticky thing, to use it for coins and stuff, and you have to sort of get that sticky thing into position, and you're supposed to just be casually doing it while nobody's looking with one hand while you're talking or something. And when he tried it a couple of times, it didn't quite get there, and so he just reaches over with his other hand and puts it in position. You can't do that in a real performance. And he never explained, how do you deal with that? How do you get it in the right position without having to reach over and blatantly do it? So there are a lot of things like that just, I don't know if they left a bad taste in my mouth, but they certainly smelled of the fish, They were a little bit fishy. And so I think that this product has potential. I think that this method is clever, and it does work once you've got the gimmick in position. And so to be clear about in position, what that means, the gimmick is hooked up to you, but it's hidden. And then you have to reach over and grab it and hook it to your hand, basically. And when it's hooked to your hand, you can't see it. I mean, it's you can do this while it's hooked to your hand, and you're fine. So then when you're done with the trick, you have to unhook it and just leave it in its little hiding place. But it won't stay in the hiding place properly if you don't have that little sticky thing there. And it's just a little bit fidgety, and you can end up with this thing just sort of hanging right in front of people. So, but once you're in position, it works great for rings, for something with a hole in it. Not so much for borrowed objects that are small borrowed objects. So, read the written review to get the rest of this, guys. I don't want this video to take much longer. It's already 13 minutes. My final score on this was, I didn't feel that it was rubble, like it was just a piece of crap. I didn't feel like that. But I certainly didn't feel that it was a gem either. Like, oh yeah, it's a gem, go get it. Because basically, all you're really going to get with this is the ability to do a very clean vanish of a ring, and as long as you can get yourself in position to do that. So, and that getting yourself in that position is a little tricky because of that one little piece of the gimmick that doesn't work. So my final verdict is right down the middle, 2.5 stars, stone status of grubble. Not gem, not rubble, but grubble. That's right. So, it is time for you to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and listen to the random iTunes song of the moment, which is, oh, here's a throwback for you. Paradise City by Guns N' Roses. It's a classic. At the very beginning here in a minute, there's going to be a loud high-pitched noise. Listen. Now, it's too far into the song, I'll skip it. But I can never tell if it's somebody screaming or if it's like a whistle or what is it. Anyway, by the way, Carrie Underwood did a cover of that. It's like a bootleg video on YouTube. I'll put a link to that too. It's really, really good if you listen to it all the way through. No, I'm sorry. Sweet Child of Mine is one she did. Never mind. She did Paradise City too, but it wasn't as good. And last thing, whenever I hear any song from the Appetite for Destruction album, I have one memory that comes flooding back to me, and that is a girl I used to date, 25 years ago. I don't even know. Her name was Buffy. Yes, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Her name was Buffy, and I was teaching her to drive a stick. I had a 1975 Toyota Celica, and when I was teaching her to drive a stick shift, we would listen to that tape, and I think she burned out my clutch in my Celica. But anyway, I just always remembered teaching her how to drive a stick when I was listening to that song, or that album. So there you have it, guys. I'm rambling. See you tomorrow on day 17, where I have no idea what I'm reviewing tomorrow. So it'll be a surprise for us all. Peace out, folks.